There have been a ton of legendary duos in NBA history, Jordan and Pippen, Stockton and Malone, Duncan and Parker, but let's be real, one duo probably popped into your head right away, Shaq and Kobe. They played together for 8 seasons, made 4 finals, and won 3 championships. Pure dominance, but despite all that success, the debate still rages on. Did Shaq carry Kobe? It's a narrative that won't die, and today we're breaking it down once and for all. Let's start at the beginning. When Shaq and Kobe won their first championship in 2000, it was clear who the number one option was. Shaq was absolutely dominant, averaging 38 points and 16.7 rebounds per game in the finals against the Pacers. The Lakers ran their entire offense through him, and he was simply unstoppable in the paint. Kobe, on the other hand, was still young, just 21 years old. He had some great moments like his clutch performance in Game 4 when Shaq fouled out, but the team revolved around Shaq. That's where the Shaq carried Kobe argument really started. For me personally, I don't feel like it's fair to expect a young, inexperienced Kobe to be able to play at the level of a 27-year-old prime Shaq. At this point, O'Neal had already gotten some valuable postseason experience, much more than Kobe had. Before he was even a Laker, he'd been through multiple deep playoff runs. He had led the Orlando Magic to the NBA Finals in 1995, even though they got swept by Hakeem Olajuwon in the Houston Rockets. The next year, he made it to the Eastern Conference Finals, but lost to Michael Jordan's Bulls. Overall, he was better acquainted with these moments, and Kobe simply wasn't old enough to have the same experiences. So yes, I think Shaq carried Kobe for their first championship. Same way a 27-year-old Tim Duncan carried a 21-year-old Tony Parker in 2003. Duncan was the best player in the world at that point, winning both MVP and Finals MVP in 2003. Parker, on the other hand, was still developing. Is it fair to discount Parker's success just because he won some championships off of the dominance of an already developed superstar? Of course not. It's not like Parker never became anything. With time, Tony Parker developed into a true star and even won a Finals MVP. And so did Kobe. He eventually became a bigger part, as you'll recognize soon. You see, in 2001, the Lakers were even better. They went 15-1 in the playoffs, which is one of the most dominant runs ever. Shaq still led the way in the finals, averaging 33 points and 16 rebounds against the Sixers. But here's the thing, Kobe was right there with him, averaging 25 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists for the entire playoff run. He was a legit superstar by this point, even if Shaq was still seen as the main guy. And the NBA Finals isn't Bryant's best case for why he didn't get carried for his second championship. It's actually the playoffs where he put up extraordinary performances after extraordinary performance. And keep in mind that he was doing this at a time where it was traditional for basketball to be played through the big, so Kobe wasn't getting as many touches because Phil Jackson was insistent on Shaq touching the ball every single possession, which makes sense when you have a 7-foot, 300-pound big man under the rim. Still, the fact that a developing Kobe was still able to stuff the stat sheet shows how advanced he was as a player. So in 2000, I think he got carried to a championship by Shaq. But in the 2001 championship, he didn't get carried because he did most of his work in the playoff games that happened before the finals. This brings us to the year of 2002, which was the final year of the Lakers three-peat. They finished the season 58-24, which was good, but not the best record in the NBA. In fact, they were the number 3 seed in the Western Conference behind the Kings, who went 61-21, and the Spurs, who went 58-24. The West had finally caught up. The Kings, Spurs, and Mavericks were all legitimate threats to dethrone the Lakers. As a result, the playoffs weren't a cakewalk like the previous year. The Lakers swept the Blazers in the first round and beat the Spurs in 5 games, setting up an epic showdown with the Sacramento Kings in the Western Conference Finals. This series felt like the real NBA championship. At first, things didn't look good for the Shaq and Kobe Lakers. The Kings took a 3-2 lead, and Game 6 was one of the most controversial games in NBA history. The Lakers shot 27 free throws in the fourth quarter alone, leading many to believe that the league wanted them to win. Maybe I'll make a video about that whole situation, but now is not the time. Regardless of the controversy, the Lakers still had to close the deal in Game 7. Unlike in the first 2 championships, the Lakers three-peat, Kobe came in clutch instead of Shaq. In the elimination game on the road, Kobe scored 30 points, 10 assists, and 7 rebounds. If Kobe hadn't shown up that game, the Kings would have won that series. After surviving Sacramento, the NBA Finals were a joke. The New Jersey Nets, led by Jason Kidd, had no chance. The Lakers swept the Nets easily, completing their three-peat, and throughout that series, Shaq's stats were much better than Kobe's, but Kobe actually showed up when it mattered most in the actual competitive series against the Kings. So in 2001, I believe that Kobe was not carried by Shaq. In fact, if not for Kobe's Game 7 performance against Sacramento, the three-peat never would have happened. So did Shaq carry Kobe? In 2000, yes, to an extent, but by 2001 and 2002, it was a true partnership. As we all know, after winning 3 straight titles, the Shaq-Kobe duo fell apart. Their egos clashed, and in 2004, after losing to the Pistons in the finals, the Lakers traded Shaq to the Miami Heat. This was a real test. Could Kobe win without him? Shaq immediately won a championship in Miami in 2006, teaming up with Dwayne Wade. That gave fuel to the argument that Shaq didn't need Kobe to win. Meanwhile, the Lakers struggled. From 2005 to 2007, Kobe put up monster numbers, including an 81-point game, but he couldn't get past the first round of the playoffs. People started saying Kobe was selfish and couldn't lead a team to a title. Then came Paul Gasol. In 2008, the Lakers traded for Gasol, and everything changed. Kobe finally had the right supporting cast, and he led the Lakers to 3 straight finals appearances. They lost to the Celtics in 2008, but won back-to-back championships in 2009 and 2010. Kobe was the undisputed leader this time. He was so good that he won back-to-back finals MVPs. That Game 7 performance against Boston in 2010, where he grabbed 15 rebounds despite shooting poorly, proved how badly he wanted to win. This was Kobe's redemption. He had proven he could win without Shaq, but of course, the critics flipped the script, saying Kobe wouldn't have won without Paul Gasol. So let's talk about it, the Kobe needed Powell argument. Just like people said Shaq carried Kobe, others now argue that Kobe couldn't have won without Gasol. And yeah, Gasol was huge and a great sidekick in the 2009 and 2010 playoffs. He was clutch, especially in the Game 7 win over Boston. But here's the thing, every great player needs help. Shaq had D Wade in Miami, Jordan had Pippen, LeBron needed Kyrie and AD. No one wins championships alone. Kobe was clearly the best player on those championship teams, just like Shaq was during their three-peat. The problem is, some people move the goalposts. When Shaq dominated, it was he carried Kobe, but when Kobe led the Lakers later, it was he needed Gasol. Both things can be true. Shaq was the biggest reason the Lakers won from 2000 to 2002, and Kobe was the biggest reason they won in 2009 to 2010. At the end of the day, the Shaq vs. Kobe debate misses the bigger picture. They both needed each other. Without Shaq, Kobe doesn't win those 3 rings early in his career. Shaq was the most dominant force in the league, and he made life easier for Kobe. Without Kobe, Shaq doesn't win those rings either. The Lakers don't win in 2000 without Kobe stepping up in Game 4 against the Pacers. They don't sweep the Spurs in 2001 without Kobe dropping 45 in Game 1. They don't get past the Kings in 2002 without Kobe's insane all-around play. They were the perfect duo. Shaq's dominance inside, Kobe's killer mentality outside, and yeah, their egos clashed, but that's what made them great. They pushed each other. In the end, Shaq won 4 rings, Kobe won 5. They both proved that they could win without each other, but together, they were unstoppable. So did Shaq carry Kobe? Early on, sure, but at the end of their run, it was a partnership. And if we're being real, they both deserve equal respect for what they accomplished. But what do you think? Did Shaq carry Kobe? Tell me in the comment section below. Until next time, peace.